Howdy Earthlings, in my last guide I shared how sanity works and how distracting is possible, but only practical on a couple of characters, and for only about 90% of the infected. Distracting is handled very differently here, because of how the devs are designing the game. Trust me, I've talked to a lot of devs one-on-one and talked about the subject. As players, we don't like distracting because of how it works in Dandy's world, but this isn't Dandy's world, is it? The goal is for distracting to be possible, but not mandatory or meta. There are a lot of counters in place to make it harder for distractors, and there are things in place to make it easier for regular players. I played to 30 without distractors, and I only know of a couple people who actually try to distract. Of course, some players will break the systems that are in place. We always do, that's just what players do, and that's why feedback is important. So all I'm asking is that you save the distracting hate for until you've tried it in Toon Universe yourself. Now, this is a guide about Phantasia, and she's a popular one. She's one of the most wanted characters in the game right now. I see everyone talking about wanting her because she's cute, makes an MLP reference, does support, and is fast. So let's talk about what she does and break down how she works, so you know if she is actually one of the ones that you want to shoot for first. Phantasia's stats are 5 movement, 3 stamina, which is 150 points, 2 extraction, because she's too short to reach the lever, 3 hacking, and 3 sanity. This part of her kit leans her in the direction of being a movement character, and that means that she does do some distracting. She can walk faster than most of the affected. Since there are no trinkets yet, and devs have said that there won't be any speed trinkets, she will never be able to outrun infected copper long term. There are some infected that also make distraction harder, like Squiddles, who blocks paths which prevent looping, and GNR, who does similar. Because of the sanity system, infected prefer players with higher sanity. If you're distracting, everyone else will have higher sanity. So if a player tries to buff your speed, they have to get close enough to take the infected off of you. Fizzle does have a way around this, but regardless of that, speed buffs last less time than the cooldown from speed boosting abilities. Phantasia will eventually have to stop distracting if a copper is on the floor. You can swap off with another distractor, but sanity takes a long time to come back. There's other factors to worry about, but basically the more players you dedicate to making distracting work, the longer you're making the run because that's less players on the machines. Like I said in the last guide, it's possible, but I don't see it being very practical right now. For me, it seems like a strategy to employ once in a while. But then again, I'm not a distractor player, so I'm not going to know every possible thing about distracting. Now, her passive is interesting. Every 30 seconds, the path of infected will be visible for 10 seconds. This makes her great for solo, as she will be able to see infected coming long before they ever get close. Also makes her a better distractor, as she can quickly find infected to gather. Her passive is good, but I think aside from her aesthetics, the reason a lot of people want her is for her very weird active ability. Before I describe it, however cool you think it might be, in practice it's incredibly impractical. Fan's magic trick targets a player with a magic spell. This spell gives a variety of effects. It can heal, boost a random stat, or create a puff of smoke. It has a cooldown of 15 seconds supposedly, but in my experience it's been 20. Maybe they reduced it since I last played, which was just a day ago. Anyway, the chance to heal is 20% and the random buff is 60%. 20% sounds great, almost reliable even, but in practice, it actually feels very low. In one stream we had a bug preventing us from sharing medkits, so I sat in a corner with a player who was on 1 health using magic trick whenever it was up. I used it about 15 times, and I didn't get the heal even once. Since the player had only 1 health, it'd be way too dangerous to walk around together doing stuff while we wait for it. We could get separated, or they might die. It's not fun to play like this, but players are going to choose the safer option, even when it might make more sense for that player to just go looking for parts. Me and some other players have made suggestions to improve the heal rate to prevent players from sitting around and doing nothing like this, because if a heal is guaranteed, eventually people will sit around trying to heal them. No one wants to lose their friend in a run and make them wait for their other friends to finish a run, so they will choose the thing that makes it more inconvenient than just starting over. Like, I 100% get that this is a totally illogical thing to do, but humans do illogical junk all the time, and I think you're all starting to rub off on me. A dev said that they don't plan to buff the rate. Personally, in a game like this, I want RNG to play as little a factor as possible. Gambling is fun in the right environment, one where winning isn't the main goal. I play a card game called Magic the Gathering, and gambling is really funny in that game. You don't play a gambling deck expecting to win. It happens sometimes, but that's what makes it fun. But in TU, we're trying to get as high a floor as possible, so I don't think RNG having a ton of influence is good for that. Phantasia currently doesn't have an infected, so let's talk about aesthetics. She's short because she's a kid, she's loud because she's short, and she 100% dresses like a horse girl. Horse girl as in that kid in class whose whole personality is liking horses, not, you know, a horse girl like a female horse, or you know what I mean. She does have good voice lines, but she was so loud that the devs actually had to nerf her volume. Even then, she's still pretty loud. She's a shout talker 100%. The voice actor is good, but Phantasia is Scottish. Very few of her voice lines are with a noticeable Scottish accent.
Let's give it another go. Let's all heal in Cookie Doys. They won't catch me. Come on, everybody. Everybody. Got the last one. Hope you're all ready. Let me handle this one. Every pony and Ellie. I'm so sorry. Great job.
But I've only lived in America, so my exposure to Scottish accents are from media. In media, they typically make fun of and use the Glaswegian version of the Scottish accent, the one that's really thick and hard to understand.
Well, it's very hard to bring them to mind, this is the thing. It's alright when your eyes are not going and happy as eyes.
So I'm probably wrong here, as most Scottish people probably don't sound like that. I'm looking into this too much. She's a video game character. Overall, Phantasia is a pretty complex character who makes you think she's support, but she's actually a recon character. But oops, she's actually a distractor. Listen, just play her how you want. I don't necessarily think she's better just because she's one of the two who are able to distract effectively. I'm not a distractor. The game doesn't require us to have one to get far, so that doesn't factor high on my personal ranking. I think her speed and overall average stats make her an excellent solo, even if her active is useless when solo. For co-op, I'd say her active is too unreliable to be of high value. If anyone demands you try to heal them with her, tell them that they'd have better odds buying a lotto ticket. Don't rely on Phantasia for healing. Go get parts and ask your team to stop eating all the meds and stop buying up the whole stock every time from checkoff. Spam her active if you want. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. Don't expect things to happen, so you're pleasantly surprised when it does. She is capable of distracting if you want to do that. Her passive lets her see infected before they see her. I think she's an A tier agent, but she could be an S tier if she had a better active. She's 100% worth unlocking if you know exactly what you want out of her. Thanks for watching, and thanks to the supporters on Patreon and members on YouTube like Freya Games, Gezro, Am, Nebazi, Aspirin Artist, Paper, Fate Penguin, Momentary Unicorn, Nat, Marius Yini, Worm Syrup, Rask, Beef, Colorado Blue, Vaderson, Linky, Addy14, The Ace of Raccoons, Blackjack, Rask Again, Willie Pete, TG Dante, Linky Again, Astropixie YT, and Malding Brick. I'll see y'all later. Tipo got hit by a car and I'm the only one who knows CPR. Bye.